and they're away. And Pat has deliberately dropped Moonfish out, you'll see there, and Optimist going on from Because, Dominicus, Nashwan over on the far side, Optimist taking him along from Because, and Nashwan on the outside. Then comes Cacoethes, Dominicus, and Moonfish, the back marker of the sextet. He's dropped him out, Pat, but he hasn't settled. You'll see he's still fighting for his head there. That's Optimist in the lead from Nashwan, and Because, Cacoethes, and last Moonfish still hasn't settled. Optimist the leader from Nashwan. Nashwan on the outside as we see them on the right, on the inside Because. Then comes Cacoethes with Dominicus on his inside. Pat, seeing a lot of daylight towards the outer on Moonfish, has dropped his bit a little bit now. Optimist the leader from Nashwan, and Because as they round the turn into the straight. Optimist from Nashwan, Willie Carson. Because over on the far rail. Cacoethes making ground, and now Pat trying to get on terms on Moonfish. Moonfish doesn't look as though he's going to get anywhere near the fighting line as Nashwan strikes the front now inside the final furlong. Nashwan going away now from Optimist on the far side as they race up towards the line, stretching really well, and as he comes up to the line, Nashwan wins it very well indeed from Optimist second, with third Cacoethes, and in fact Moonfish was last. Well, if they don't settle, they don't get home. The result of the Red Oaks Autumn Stakes, first number 6, Nashwan, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, trained by Neil Graham and ridden by Willie Carson. Second was number 7, Optimist, owned by Mr. D.H. Brown, trained by Steve Norton and ridden by Walter Swinburne. And third was number 3, Cacoethes, owned by Mr. Paul Locke, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Greville Starkey. So number 7 of the season for Neil Graham. Dick Hearn's score 30 before Neil took over the stable in his temporary absence through ill health, which, Dick, we hope is not going to be too prolonged.
Orders at Brighton, they're off at 3:06, running Brighton at 3:06. This for 3-year-olds over a mile and a quarter. Let's join the commentary.
Early leader is Love and Life, one of only 2 previous winners in the field, but she's closely attended by Dolpour on the inside after these 2, Child of the Mist. And settling well just behind these in 4 is Galliari, trying to emulate Dalgan, who won this last year for Henry Cecil and Steve Cawthon. Then close up on the inside comes Cacoethes, one of 3 Guy Harwood entries for this one. Niha makes headway up towards the outside. This group are being followed by the filly Fast Market, and towards the rear in this early part of the race, French Scarlet. And the present back marker is Azayima.
Leave Brighton a moment. Sligo, the white flag has been raised, and they bet there 8-1, number 8, Habayeb. Sligo are now running, they're off at 3:06. Off Sligo at 3:06. Back to Brighton, and Love and Life in the yellow colours just for leader. Cacoethes close up in second.
Through under Greville Starkey to take it up from Love and Life. Entering the final 5 now, and Cacoethes is rejoined virtually by Love and Life on the outside, then Dolpour close on the inside rails, Child of the Mist next, and then comes Galliari being produced now by Steve Cawthon. Niha is not far behind. They're well past halfway. They're making their way down into the dip now with Cacoethes on the inside, still in the lead, but there are 5 others ranged right across the course and right behind the leader inside the final 3. Cacoethes from Dolpour coming again strongly, then Child of the Mist and Galliari. Niha getting reminders on the outside. Love and Life is trying to hang on too, but it's Cacoethes at the moment who's got first run on the rest. Cacoethes striding away as they meet the rising ground here. Cacoethes going on well clear now of Dolpour, who is bidding to open his account in second, and then after these 2, Child of the Mist, but into the final half furlong, and Greville Starkey has Cacoethes a long way in front, and he eases up approaching the line. Cacoethes it is, a long way in front of Dolpour, Child of the Mist, and Class Act finishing well.
Yes, Cacoethes the last in, under orders, and then away. Paradami on the far side, with Cacoethes taking it up from him, and on the near side Diamond Path, and Diamond Path going ahead now. Remekose Danseur on the near side, Cacoethes on the far side. Just in behind them comes Spring Hay. Paradami is fifth. Sixth and seventh are Spitfire and Siciliano, as Cacoethes leads into this sharp bend and runs very wide at it. Cacoethes followed by Diamond. They all run wide, in fact. Cacoethes from Diamond Path and Écossais Danseur. Spring Hay on the inside of Paradami, Spitfire and Siciliano, the back marker. And Cacoethes taking him along at quite a decent clip from on the inside, Diamond Path, on the outside Écossais Danseur, then Spitfire and Paradami, and Spring Hay and Siciliana, the back marker. Cacoethes by about 2 from Écossais Danseur, Diamond Path, Paradami moving into fourth, going third in fact now as they race uphill. Then comes Spitfire and Spring Hay and Siciliano, the back marker of the 7 runners, and still Cacoethes, the leader, from Écossais Danseur, Paradami and Diamond Path matching strides, third and fourth. Then Spitfire getting a little bit closer. Then comes Spring Hay and Siciliana getting closer now to them as they race to the top of the hill. Cacoethes by 2 from Écossais Danseur, who's in fact getting a little bit closer to him. Then Diamond Path on the inside, Paradami on his outer. Then Spitfire comes next. Then Spring Hay and Siciliana as they race into the home turn now. Cacoethes stretching them as they race into the home turn now with 3 furlongs to run in the Calor Derby trial. Cacoethes and Grevel-Starkey from Écossais Danseur. Here comes Paradami now on the stand side. Cacoethes from Paradami. Paradami quickening well now to come and challenge Cacoethes. Spitfire's moved into third now, racing past the 2. Cacoethes from Paradami. Cacoethes with the advantage from Paradami. And Spitfire in third. Cacoethes is holding Paradami and he's going to win it inside the final furlong. Cacoethes quickening well. Grevel looks over his right shoulder, sees no danger whatsoever. Cacoethes wins the Calor Derby trial. Second is Paradami, beaten a good 4. Spitfire just holds Diamond Path out of third place, and then came Siciliano and Écossais Danseur, and finally Spring Hay. And so the result of the Calor Derby trial is first number 1, Cacoethes, owned by Lady Harrison, trained by Guy Harwood, who last won it in 1984 with Alpha Badium, and ridden by Grevel-Starkey. Second was number 5, the odds-on favourite Paradami, owned by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, trained by Luca Kumani and ridden by Ray Cochrane. And third was number 6, Spitfire, owned by REA Bott Wigmore Street Limited, trained by Charlie Nelson and ridden by Tony Ives, with Diamond Path fourth. Cacoethes immediately getting a 5-to-1 quote from the Derby from Hills Mecca, 4-to-1 from Coral, and the favourite Nashwan shortening now to 5-to-4 as we see Cacoethes return to the winner's circle. This son of Ali Dar out of Careless Notion by Jester, the comfortable winner of this Calor Derby trial.
But that's it, they're lined up and they break away, and a pretty level break it was too. And as they come through the first furlong, expect to see Polar Run in front with a red cap, and Polar Run is going on to make it a strong pace. With in second place Flockton Zone, third is Cacoethes, lying handy Classic Fame. Nashwan in the blue jacket is settled 5, Torjun racing pace, racing fast up on the outside of Cacoethes. They swing right-handed and continue to make this stiff uphill climb, and it's Polar Run leading by 3 parts of a length to his stable companion Cacoethes, with Torjun on the inside of that racing third. Then Warshan and Flockton Zone, and behind these comes Ildaniski mid-division, then comes Warshan. Nashwan follows these, the back marker is Mill Pond, but it's Polar Run leading by 3 parts of a length to Torjun on the inside. Cacoethes well placed at the end of the first half mile is third. Ildaniski pulls through into 4. Then in behind these as they pass the mile post comes Nashwan on the rank outside of Flockton Zone. Then Gran Alban, Nashwan mid-division, then Classic Fame and Prince of Dance. And so they headed at the furthest point from the stands, and Torjun with 7 furlongs to race comes up on the inside of Polar Run, and it's a lung bursting pace, and it's Torjun now who takes it up from In second place, Polar Run, who's pulled wide to allow Cacoethes to go through, but Nashwan makes his run wider still. Ildeniski in behind these, then Warshan, and then comes Flockton's Own. Terrimon is the back marker, sharing last place with Mill Pond, but they begin the descent to Tattenham Corner, and at this stage the favourite Nashwan in the blue jacket is well placed in fourth on the outside of the rank outside of Flockton's Own. But it's Cacoethes in front now as they begin the descent, and with just over 4 furlongs to go. Torjou next to the rails, Cacoethes cruising on the outside of him. Then behind these comes Ildeniski. Nashwan now pushed along in 4, but Greville-Starkey goes for home with 3 furlongs to go in the ever-ready derby. Cacoethes pressed on the outside by Ildeniski, but here comes Nashwan with a good-looking split. Torjou and backing 4. They race down towards the 2-furlong marker, and the duel we expected is materialising, and it's Nashwan that goes on. It's Nashwan and Willie Carson, a length ahead of Cacoethes and Greville-Starkey. A furlong and a half to go in the derby, and Nashwan has it. Cacoethes in second place, and back in third is Terrimon, but inside the final furlong, Nashwan provides an electrifying burst of speed. It's a one-horse race. Willie Carson in the drive position. Nashwan wins it easily. At the line, Nashwan is the winner. Terrimon came through to second, Cacoethes third. Then came Ildeniski and Mill Pond, followed by Grand Albert Classic Fame, then Torjou, and then Flockton's Own, Prince of Dance, Warshan, and last of all was number 12, Polar Run.
And it's Spring Hay from Cacoethes. Cacoethes taking on Spring Hay already as they race towards the 5 pole, with Really Brilliant and Val Resit next, and then Zayani making a little ground on the inside. Spring Hay, Cacoethes, as they race towards the turn in the King Edward VII Stakes. Really Brilliant, chased up there on the outside of Cacoethes to go second now. Cacoethes back in third, racing round the home turn. And it's Spring Hay from Really Brilliant, Cacoethes third. Then Steve Cawthon making ground towards the outside on Arctic Envoy into the straight. Spring Hay from Really Brilliant, Cacoethes. And then Arctic Envoy racing to the 2 marker now. Spring Hay being challenged now by Cacoethes, coming there very strongly. Pat Edery looks over his left shoulder, sees that Zayani is now the challenger as they race into the final furlong. It's Cacoethes from Zayani, Pat Edery from Walter Swinburne as they race into the closing stages. It's Cacoethes from Zayani, Cacoethes quickening away from Zayani as they race to the line. Cacoethes wins it cleverly from Zayani second, with Spring Hay third.
Cacoethes is the winner, the 13-8 on favourite. Zion is second, 8-1. Spring Hay third at 50-1.
Orders, and they're away. And Sheriff Star just misses the break as Polymos goes on. Polymos goes straight on into the lead now. From on the outside, Top Class, Carroll House comes next. Then Nashwan, Cacoethes and Tisserand. Willie Carson just checks Nashwan a little there, and Sheriff Star's the back marker, and Polymos taking him along. Polymos from Carroll House on the inside of Cacoethes, Nashwan, Tisserand, Top Class, and Sheriff Stars. They race down into Swinley Bottom. Polymos from Carroll House, Cacoethes on the inside, Nashwan on the outer, Top Class, Tisserand, and Sheriff Star. Coming to the mile pole now. Polymos just coming up to it by 2 now from Carroll House, who's a length and a half up on Cacoethes, who's a length and a half to 2 lengths up on Nashwan. Then comes Tisserand, Top Class, and Sheriff Star, the back marker of the 7. They're racing towards the 7 pole. Polymos still from Carroll House in second. Cacoethes going smoothly in third. Nashwan nicely in 4. Top Class next, then Tisserand, then Sheriff Star. Racing now towards the 6, and as they do so, it's Top Class. It's Polymos still with the advantage from Carroll House in second. Then Cacoethes, Nashwan getting a little bit closer, Top Class, Tisserand, and finally Sheriff Star coming to the 5 pole. Still Polymos by 3 from Carroll House, Cacoethes, Nashwan with Top Class very close to him. Then Tisserand, Sheriff Star trying to make grounds on the outside of Tisserand. Coming now to the half-mile pole in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, and Polymos is still the leader from Top Class, who's made a charge now for the front under Michael Robertson, who's gone to the front. Top Class has gone to the front now from Carroll House and Polymos. Nashwan is in 4, Cacoethes 5, into the home straight, and enterprising Brit for Glory here by Michael Roberts as he stormed clear on Top Class under pressure. Nashwan has now moved into second. Nashwan is being tracked by Cacoethes. Nashwan is cutting down Top Class as though he didn't exist. Nashwan has stored into the lead now from Cacoethes, who's coming there to challenge him. It's Nashwan and Cacoethes now, the big 2-3-year-olds as they race towards the line. Nashwan on the far side, Cacoethes on the near side. As they race to the line, it's Nashwan and Cacoethes, and Nashwan has won it. Nashwan has won it from Cacoethes. Top Class is third, 4 is Sheriff Star, 5, 6 and 7 were Carroll House and Polymos, and Tisserand was last. Well, the rerun is going to be as dramatic as the race itself. There were 2 very dramatic incidents in this race that we shall be seeing. It's run to a photograph, but there's no doubt that the first past the post is the unbeaten, the hitherto unbeaten Nashwan, number 9, who has won it from Cacoethes with Top Class third. But officially, it's a photograph. It's a photograph between the big 2-3-year-olds, Nashwan and Cacoethes, but this race may not be over yet. A handshake there from Greville Starkey to Willie Carson. Nashwan having come perilously close to Top Class when he passed him, and then these 2 principals having come close once again. They both ran their race out in the most gallant style, with Nashwan just asserting his class in the closing stages to become number 5 in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes for Dick Hearn, and number 4 for Willie Carson. With the reminder, there is of course still a photo. Let's review those dramatic closing stages.
And this race will be talked about for weeks or months. First of all, Polymos for me didn't really go fast enough for Nashwan. He was just a little bit keen in the early stages, Nashwan, and a better earlier pace would have suited. Then Michael Roberts kicked for home 5 furlongs out, or a little less, on Top Class. And suddenly Willie had to be a little bit uneasy, because after a slow early pace, Michael Roberts had pinched 4 or 5 lengths on him. He came round into the straight, Willie, in a good position, although 2 or 3 off the rails, but just not cruising as he might have liked to have been. So he's had to come with an extended run. Greville Starkey makes his run on the outside now in Cacoethes. We hoped here that he'd burst away. A little nudge there perhaps between Top Class and Nashwan, but that for me was Top Class coming away from the rails. Now he stretches out and goes for home, but Cacoethes isn't beaten yet by any means at all. And for a moment, Cacoethes looked as though he might get to him. He stretches just for a moment, perhaps he's gone ahead, a neck up, but Willie Carson and Nashwan shows his terrific class and courage here by sticking his neck out, going away and getting to the front again in the last 50 yards. But he was headed and he had to show all his resources. Nashwan wins, Cacoethes second, and the 2 are clear. Well, here's the head-on coverage of what happened in the straight. Nashwan, you can see in the blue collars, 1 from the right here, and Greville Starkey challenging on his outside. But the horse on the rails, the Top Class, just wandering a little bit under Michael Roberts, coming under strong pressure here, and it's he drifting away that causes him just to drift into Nashwan, and the 2 horses come very close there. Nashwan's running absolutely straight. Greville Starkey making his challenge on the outside. Now, Jimmy, these 2 horses are quite close as well.
This is what racing's all about, Julian. This is what the crowds rose to today. Cacoethes on the right, Nashwan on the left, and they've both gone to the line with giving all their strength and stamina. This is what we thought we saw in the Derby. Cacoethes wasn't quite the horse he is today, but Nashwan proves his courage here because he's had some hard races, the Derby eclipse, but he's still reserved enough courage and stamina to last him home a neck winner today. I think we've seen 2 very, very, very good colts, and what a 4-year-old Cacoethes is going to make when Nashwan goes to start.
And as Nashwan returns to the unsaddling enclosure, the announcement is made. Nashwan is officially the winner of the photo for the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes, led in by his lad Alan Thimbleby, proceeded to the unsaddling by Greville Starkey on Cacoethes. And although Greville was beaten today, it will have given him terrific satisfaction, the fact that his horse has run a mighty race, the sort of race that they expected him to run in the Derby. But this horse is the victor. This horse remains unbeaten in 6 races. This horse is a horse that 20,000-30,000 people came to Ascot to see today and to cheer, and they cheered him all the way through the last 2 furlongs, although there were some gasps of horror for a moment, as just for a second it looked as though the great Nashwan might be beaten. Willie returns to unsaddle. The horse looks about him with that marvellous look of intelligence, interest and appreciation of the applause for a great winner. So Nashwan, owned by Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, the winner of the 1989 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes by a neck. Here now, the start.
I think they're all in. Let's go over to Gigi.
Lined up for this Japan International, and they break away. And Cacoethes a little bit slowly into his stride, misses the beat early on, and through the first furlong is 2 Timing who takes up the running, and the pace is strong. The Older Sheep are normally a front runner in 2nd place, and then behind these comes Lapierre racing 3rd, and Magic Gleam and Cacoethes and Shady Heights. They pass the 9 pole, and Batsouf is behind them. So it's 2 Timing, the pace very strong indeed, and they race down towards a mile. 2 Timing clear by 2, over Older Sheep by 2, to Lapierre by 1.5, to Magic Gleam by 0.5, to Cacoethes, and then comes Shady Heights, and behind that one is Batsouf, and they race down towards the 7 pole, and it's 2 Timing leading from the Older Sheep in 2nd, and Lapierre and Magic Gleam, Cacoethes and Shady Heights and Batsouf, and they come down towards the 6 pole, and it's 2 Timing, Pat Edery from the front by a length and a half to Older Sheep in 2nd, then Lapierre and Shady Heights, the horse with the noseband, making ground on the outside. Magic Gleam on the outside of Cacoethes, and Batsouf finding the pace hot. They turn into the home stretch, under 5 to race, and 2 Timing has it from Older Sheep on the outside, then Lapierre is back in 3rd, then Shady Heights on the outside of Magic Gleam, and Cacoethes is tucked in behind them. Has got a Willie fine room. Greville's just easing him back there to pull to the outside as they come down towards the 3, and Older Sheep goes on. It's Older Sheep who has it from 2 Timing, and these are 2 clear of Shady Heights. Here comes Cacoethes back in 3rd place, being ridden along, getting reminders as his stable companion Older Sheep, who's got first run, goes on inside the final quarter mile. Older Sheep, but now Cacoethes in full sail, closing on Older Sheep. 2 back to Shady Heights in 3rd. A furlong to go. Older Sheep is staying on very gamely, but Cacoethes is pressing him hard. Older Sheep finds more. Older Sheep and Cacoethes, and Greville accepts it, and Older Sheep goes on, and it's Older Sheep by a length and a half to 2. Older Sheep from in 2nd place, Cacoethes, Shady Heights 3rd. Then a photo for 4 between Magic Gleam and Batsouf. A gap of 5 lengths to 2 Timing and 8 to Lapierre. And so the result of this Judd Monty International, it's been won by a by a Guy Harwood trained horse, but for so many people, the wrong one in the shape of Older Sheep. This one earned by Mr. Athos Christodoulou, trained at Pulborough then by Guy Harwood, giving Tony Clark a deserved big race win. He's beaten the odds-on favourite stable companion, number 7, Cacoethes, in the colours of Lady Harrison, also trained at Pulborough by Guy Harwood, so a 1-2 for him in this race. But that one ridden by Greville Starkey, who had the horse in behind, 4 to go, had to pull him outside Older Sheep at first run, and then Greville, for me, gave up inside the final furlong. 3rd horse home is number 5, Shady Heights. That one ridden by Willie Carson. A 1-2 for Guy Harwood, but for so many punters, the wrong one.
Well, this race has produced some upsets in its time. The defeat of the great Brigadier Gerard, the only defeat of his whole career. But this, I suspect, is as big an upset as any. And it's due to the tactical opportunism of Tony Clark. 2 Timing has set a blinding pace, and here goes Tony, snatching first run on his stable's first string, Cacoethes, on whom Greville Starkey, well, he's coming from a long way back. He very nearly gets there, but not quite.
No, not quite, and the most important part of any race, apart from the finish, is the start, and Cacoethes just missed the brake slightly, and they went off at such a gallop. He was never really able to get into the race. Greville was always just niggling. I shouldn't think he was ever happy at all, and I was surprised that he finished as close to Il de Sheep in the end as he did. And we said beforehand that I think we've underestimated Il de Sheep, but I think in a strong run race like this, over 1.25 miles, we said he's an improved horse, and he's just gone and improved it.
In the last 100 yards there, Greville evidently
fast on the inside. Then Ascot Cacoethes up with the pace. In the wings is going right up there to join him. In the wings going on now with Old Vic on his outside. And Sapiens has gone right up to dispute the lead as well. And it's in the wings with Sapiens on the inside. Old Vic towards the outer. Belmez and Hussian just in behind them. Then Cacoethes, who's been dropped back behind Cacoethes' Legal Case. And then comes Terriman and then Charmer. And Sartis, unbeaten previously over this course, is the back marker at the moment, as Old Vic and Steve Cawthon are the leaders now. From on the inside, Sapiens, towards the outside is Limeburn. Just in behind Limeburn is Belmez, and in the wings, and then Hussian behind Hussian is Legal Case. And still Sartis the back marker, and Old Vic making it. Old Vic from Limeburn in second, Sapiens is third. Then in the wings 4, Belmez just in behind him, and behind Belmez on his outside is Hussian. Behind Hussian then is Cacoethes, and then Terriman. And still the back marker is Sartis, with Charmer dropping back too. They're past the 6th pole, and Old Vic is still the leader from Limeburn, intended to be the pacemaker for Cacoethes in second. Sapiens is third. Then comes in the wings on the inside with Belmez, then Hussian making ground towards the outer. Cacoethes is getting closer now. Terriman has got a lot to do. Old Vic has a 3-length advantage now as they race to the half-mile pole. And it's Old Vic from on the inside in the wings. Sapiens has gone third. Belmez is right there with Cacoethes improving. Rounding the home turn, it's a Sheikh Mohammed 1-2 at the moment, with Old Vic the leader from Belmez in second. Cacoethes third. Sapiens is dropping out of it. Sartis is improving fast towards the stand side, but it's Old Vic being pressed by Belmez, then Cacoethes, and then Sartis under pressure. It's Belmez and Michael Cannan who've taken it up now from Old Vic, with Cacoethes third and Sartis 4, and Sartis still improving. Belmez and Old Vic fighting it out in the Mohammed colours, with Sartis still coming there. Old Vic is fighting back, but the 3-year-old has the advantage. It's Belmez from Old Vic with Sartis third as they race over the closing stages. Old Vic is fighting back. It's going to be a photo, but Belmez has just won it from Old Vic with third Sartis and 4 Cacoethes. Behind them came in the wings and Terriman, and behind
Cacoethes at 5-2 right now, the second choice. Shy for our post parade. You note no lead pony for the English visitor, but a California bred. This is Cacoethes from a Keeneland sale purchase, $225,000 in September of '87, owned by Lady Jane Harrison, making his United States debut. Only his 4th race in 1990. He was second in the 1.5 miles in his last start at Ascot. The rider is Ray Cochrane, 6th leading rider in England. The 33-year-old Irishman came back from a fractured pelvis, a fractured skull, and won the Epsom Derby in 1988. Number 2 is Shy Tom from the barn of William T. Young, trained by Dwayne Lucas, a 4-year-old colt by Blushing Groom. Second, beaten just half a length in the Man of War here. His only turf start, by the way, this year. Shy Tom, ridden today by one of New York's rising young stars, Chris Antley. He won the riding title at Saratoga this past August. The 3-horse. This is a roan 6-year-old El Senor, trained by Bill Wright, whose grandfather Horatio Laurel was known as the Grand Senor. He won the Sword Dancer here at this 1.5 mile distance, was 7th in last year's Breeders' Cup Turf, 9th though in his last start. And we should tell you also, El Senor drinks Budweiser. A little note there. The rider, Angel Cordero Jr., a Hall of Famer, has won this race 2 times, 1978 with Waya and 1988 Sunshine Forever. The 4-horse, this is Fast and Gold. An ambitious spot for this New York bred, was 4th in the Man of War, 7th, beaten 12 3/4 lengths at this 1.5 mile distance in the Sword Dancer. The rider of Fast and Gold this afternoon, one of the best in the East, or really anywhere he takes his tack. We saw him as a red-hot rider at Louisiana Downs. Jerry Bailey, president of the National Jockeys Guild. The 5-horse is Al Wahoosh, a Group 1 winner in Europe, then won the Burke at Santa Anita last November, was 3rd in the Caesars International in Atlantic City, unplaced 11th though, really an unexplained 17.5 length finish behind the winner in the Arlington Million. The rider, Jose Santos, Eclipse Award winner. He's won 2 of the last 4 of these turf classics, 86 Manila, last year Yankee Affair. And here's the favorite now at 7-5. Last year's Canadian Triple Crown winner with approval set a world record here in 2:10.1 in the Bowling Green of the 1 3/8. He won the title, was 2nd in the Sword Dancer, his last out 2nd in the Arlington Million. And the rider, one of America's best, Craig Perrette, winner of course of the 1990 Kentucky Derby on Unbridled.
1.5 Sword Dancer at the end of July, and even though there's a bit of a weight switch against El Senor, I do believe that it'll be a 1-2 finish again with approval, and El Senor with approval.
Charles C., I know you have your eye on the Canadian roan.
Well, he is wearing those front bandages, and that shouldn't disturb anyone. He wore them when he ran a wonderful 2nd in the Arlington Million, so I don't think that that is any kind of a soundness problem with him. I think I'm going to line up with the English horse. I like Cacoethes. He's going to have probably a little something to say about who's on the lead.
All right, El Senor goes in. Now you see Fast and Gold, the New York bred. We'll bring you up to date on the records for this event. The stakes record, 2:25.1. The great John Henry. The track record, Secretariats. Let's go to Dave Johnson.
And the 6-5 favorite with approval, ready to move into line. This is 1.5 miles, though they'll pass under the finish line twice. And the flashy roan colt there is the final in our half dozen. He's frisky. All set. 1.5 miles. Turf firm. And they're off. With approval on the outside, takes the early lead. At the rail, Cacoethes is right there and challenging. Cacoethes at the rail, and on the outside with approval, Al Wahoosh is now into 3rd. Shy Tom at the rail back to 4th. Fast and Gold between horses, and as usual, El Senor at the back of the pack, about 8 lengths off the leader, who is Cacoethes. And Cacoethes has the lead now by a tight length. Al Wahoosh on the outside into 2nd position. Shy Tom saves ground at the rail 3rd. With approval on the outside is 4th. Fast and Gold is 5th. El Senor at the back of the pack. And as they swing around the turn, Ray Cochran has Cacoethes on a 1 3/4 advantage. Al Wahoosh is 2nd at this point. The first quarter in a lazy 24 2/5 seconds. As they move to the backstretch, Cacoethes in front from the start has it by 2. Al Wahoosh is 2nd at this point now with approval on the outside. Craig Perrette asks for some speed and gets a little bit of it. The half in a slow 49.1. Now down the backstretch, Cacoethes leads it by 3 parts of a length. As you can see, with approval is edging up into 2nd position, and Fast and Gold with Jerry Bailey on the outside is 3rd, and Al Wahoosh toward the inside is 4th at this point. Shy Tom is now at the back of the pack as El Senor begins to close. 3/4 in 1:14.1. And they continue down the backstretch with a very slow pace. And Cacoethes, with Ray Cochran aboard, continues to show the way by about 1.5 lengths. And as you see on the outside with approval is right there 2nd by a neck. Al Wahoosh at the rail, gaining ground a bit in 3rd. Then El Senor starting to make his run with Cordero on the outside. Shy Tom and Fast and Gold is 6th and last. As they move to the top of the stretch, now Cacoethes draws clear by 3, by 4 lengths. Along the inside, Al Wahoosh is 2nd ahead. With approval is racing 3rd, and El Senor is back into 4th position. They straighten away in the lane, and Cacoethes has a ton of horse there. Through the stretch, Cacoethes in front by 3 with approval. Tries to close the gap. Al Wahoosh at the rail is racing 3rd, and down the stretch they come. Cacoethes, who set those slow early factions, has a lot left for the Belmont stretch. Let's see if he can get caught. It's Cacoethes in front by 2. No, they're not going to catch him. Ray Cochran aboard Cacoethes by 2.5, and it's a tight photograph between with approval and Al Wahoosh for the 2nd and 3rd places in this Turf Classic. The final time, 2 minutes 25 seconds. That's only a 1/5 of a second off the track record set by Secretariat. They came home fast today, Chris. Well, that they did, Dave. A 2:25.1 had been the stakes record here by John Henry. A 5th off that is
Cacoethes, who again, Charles, you said you liked, and they said he thought he could go wire to wire, was really set up as the only speed. And what a weekend it's been for California breds. He is a Calbred, and Flying Continental, the Calbred, won, of course, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. They've been starring here in New York. We'll take a look at the replay.
Around there with his ears pricked, it was just a matter of how slow he could keep him for how long, and when he turned him loose, it didn't matter who was coming because he was gone. Big, long striding horse, he just galloped around here. This race was just a cakewalk for him.
The trainer Guy Harwood stayed in Europe today for the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. But I'll tell you, he's got to be very pleased. He won the Man of War here with defensive play just 2 weeks ago.
164,000 people. The field lined up at the start. There's Pat Eddery in the yellow cap in the middle. You know, those people bet a staggering £90 million on this one race alone, and that's 3 times what they bet on the Grand National. Let's join Gigi.
And Stylish Century very fast from the stalls next to the rails, and he takes the early lead, but Asahi George on the outside of him. In behind these comes Yayini Matuki and Cacoethes in the red cap, well placed. So too Belmez with the yellow cap, and then Phantom Breeze owed in the blue colours, and Better Loosen Up is tucked in behind them, racing mid-division as they come through the first quarter mile. And Stylish Century next to the rails. Wide of the pack is Asahi George for Japan, and that one just going on now. Cacoethes mid-division, and then Belmez and Owed, and behind these comes Phantom Breeze. French Glory is one of the back markers, but last of all is a Guri Cap. But they begin the turn into the back straight, and Asahi George leading from Stylish Century and Petite, and then Cacoethes in 4. Belmez racing 5, and Whitestone 6, and Owed in 7. Yayuni Matuki is 8, and behind these Better Loosen Up and Ibn Bay and French Glory. And so, as they level up down the back straight, it's Asahi George taking them along, clear by 2 to 3 lengths to Stylish Century and Petite Eel, and then Cacoethes 4, then Belmez racing 5, Whitestone is 6, and behind that Ode in the blue jacket, a race is 7, then Yayini Matuki, followed by Al Wahoosh and Better Loosen Up, and then Phantom Breeze, and then behind that one is Ibn Bay in the blue colours with the black cap settled mid-division. Behind Ibn Bay is French Glory, and one of the back markers is Okuri Cap. But they've got just over 3/4 of a mile to go, and it's Asahi George leading next to the rail. Stylish Century still holds a position. Petite Eel in the spotted colours shows 3rd, and then Cacoethes is 4. A gap of a couple of lengths then to Belmez racing 5, but they begin the turn out of the back straight, and it's Cacoethes in 4th place, and behind him is Whitestone, and behind Whitestone is Belmez poised to challenge. But it's still Asahi George in the lead by a length and no more to Stylish Century next to the rails. Petite Eel, Cacoethes well placed. Belmez is bridging that gap, and behind these comes Whitestone. Ode is in behind that on the outside. Phantom Breeze and Julie Crone being ridden, but they're in line for home now. And Asahi George in the lead. They race down past the 400-metre pole, and Ray Cochran steals it now. He goes on at Cacoethes, and it's Cacoethes going for home with up on the outside of the pack. Load coming with a great run, also making great strides. It's Better Loosen Up, and it's Better Loosen Up now who comes through to press Cacoethes. Cacoethes in the lead with a furlong to go. Cacoethes goes for home, but Better Loosen Up is closing in the blue colours. Ode finishing well as they race up towards the line. It's going to be desperately close, but Better Loosen Up just gets it. Better Loosen Up from Cacoethes and Ode, and then behind these Belmez finished 7th, just beating Ibn Bay, who finished with a late flourish. The result